Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started. You are tuning into the remote public scoping session for the Avenir project. Thank you for joining. I'm Robert Williams, the Executive Director of the New York State Gaming Commission. I will be presiding over today's scoping session in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which is commonly referred to as SEQR. Today's date is May 22nd, 2025, and the time is now 5:02 p.m. Please note that this session is being recorded. I apologize. I just set off a phone here by pressing down on something. My apologies. For those of you who have logged into Zoom and requested translation services, please click the interpretation button at the bottom of your Zoom screen and select the applicable language. For those of you on a mobile device, tap the three dots in the lower right, selecting interpretation, and select the applicable language. Please be sure to select the mute original audio button on your screen. Additionally, American Sign Language interpretation will be continuous within the main Zoom window. Not sure it's started yet. Do you see it in the main Zoom window? As of right now, no one has requested language interpretation for the scoping session. If there are any comments on the draft scope of work that are received in languages other than English, they will be translated and considered. If you are experiencing any audio issues at any time during the session, please dial the meeting in at 877-853-5247 and enter meeting identification number 822-3887-4556 and passcode 1. For other technical issues, please call the number 877-853-5247 and enter meeting identification 899-7677 5806 to receive help. On April 18th, 2025, the Commission assumed designation as the SEQR lead agency for the Avenir project's application to construct a commercial casino and associated development at an approximately 2-acre vacant lot of land comprised of lots 1 and 30 of Manhattan Block 1069. The block is bounded by the west 40th Street, West 41st Street, Galvin Avenue, which is the Lincoln Tunnel approach, and 11th Avenue. The project is contingent on the issuance of a commercial casino gambling facility license issued by the New York State Gaming Commission. The proposed action is discretionary, subject to environmental review under SEQR. The Commission determined the project to be a Type 1 action, and accordingly, the Avenir project prepared Part 1 of the full environmental assessment form. After reviewing and analyzing the environmental assessment form Parts 1 and Part 2 on May 2nd, 2025, the Commission found the proposed actions have the potential to result in one or more significant adverse environmental impacts in one or more environmental areas and determined that a draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, was required and should be prepared. As required by SEQR, the Avenir project's environmental consultants prepared a draft scope of work in consultation with the Commission. The Commission circulated its positive declaration, a notice of SEQR scoping session, and draft scope of work to involved and interested agencies, and published notices in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Environmental Notice Bulletin on May 7th, 2025. Accordingly, the Commission scheduled this scoping session, the SEQR scoping session, to obtain public input for the final scope of the draft environmental impact statement. We are here today to receive comments on the draft scope of work for the Avenir project. The draft scope of work identifies all subjects that will be analyzed in the draft environmental impact statement and explains how those subjects will be studied. The draft scope is available at the website shown on the screen. As I mentioned, the purpose of today's scoping session is to allow for public participation in the process at the earliest stage possible in the environmental review process. Specifically, scoping allows the public to shape the DEIS before it is written. To that end, the Commission will have an opportunity today to receive comments on the draft scope from elected officials, government agencies, community board representatives, and members of the public. We will also continue the scoping session on Thursday, May 29th, a week from tonight, from 5 p.m. until at least 7 p.m. We also welcome written comments on the draft scope of work. Please note that we extended this public comment period by an additional 7 days. Those comments can be submitted through 5 p.m. on June 12th, 2025, either by email or mailing the comments to the address that's on the screen. No decisions will be made today regarding the draft scope of work. Subsequently, the draft environmental impact statement will be prepared in accordance with the final scoping document and will contain detailed information regarding the proposed action, potential environmental impacts, and appropriate measures to avoid, minimize, and/or mitigate any significant impacts encountered, as well as a description of reasonable alternatives and a no alternative action. The DEIS will be made available for public comment and review following its consideration by the Commission as lead agency. Once the DEIS is accepted, the Commission will solicit comments on that draft document as well. At the end of the scoping comment period, the Commission, in its role as lead agency, will review all comments, those we hear today, as well as written comments that we've received. After carefully reviewing all comments, the Commission will decide what changes, if any, are needed to be made to the draft scope of work, and the Commission will then issue a final scope of work. It is the final scope of work that will serve as the basis for preparing the DEIS. Today's session is divided into 3 parts. During the first part of the session, we will have a brief overview describing the Avenir project and a summary of the draft scope of work. During the second part of the session, we will receive comments on the draft scope from government elected officials and government agencies. The third and final part of the session will be the receipt of comments from community board chairs and district managers, interested organizations, and members of the public. The session will only end when everyone who has signed up to provide testimony has had an opportunity to be heard. As noted earlier, the scoping session will continue with oral comments being accepted next week on Thursday, May 29th at the same time, 5 o'clock. To reiterate, tonight's session will not be a question and answer session, but is intended to allow the public the opportunity to provide meaningful input regarding the scope of the draft environmental impact statement. On to a few logistics for today's scoping session. For those of you who have pre-registered an interest in providing comment, we will call you in the order registered. For those who have joined tonight without pre-registration, if you're on telephone, you may dial *9 to indicate your desire to provide oral testimony. If on video, you may indicate your desire to provide oral testimony by using the raised hand indicator. Participants using the raised hand function or *9 will be added to the end of the pre-registered speaker list in the order in which they raised their hand or pressed *9. The option to sign up to speak will end at 7 p.m. If you're reading prepared comments, it would be helpful if you email those to the Commission at kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. That's KRISTEN.BUCKLEY. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be called and you will be granted temporary speaking privileges by the session administrator, which will allow you to temporarily unmute your microphone. Please note that promoting speakers can take some time, so we would appreciate patience between speakers. Again, once your name has been called, unmute your microphone or telephone and start your remarks. To allow us to hear from everyone who wishes to speak, we ask you to please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. You will note a 3-minute countdown clock will run on the screen. You will be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when time has expired. Lines will be muted for speakers who exceed 3 minutes. If you join by telephone only, we will announce when 3 minutes have passed. For those participants utilizing interpretation services, 5 minutes of speaking time will be allocated. If you wish to only provide written testimony, again, they may be submitted to the Commission at either mailing or emailing the addresses shown on the slide. These comments must be received no later than 5 p.m. on June 12th, 2025. Joining us next is Dara McQuillan from Silverstein Properties, Nancy J. Ruddy from Cetra Ruddy Architecture, representing the Avenir project, and Connor Lacefield, a representative of AKRF, the environmental consultant firm preparing the seeker EIS. I'd like the team to begin the session by providing a short project presentation on behalf of the applicant, followed by Mr. Lacefield to discuss the draft scope of work and the analysis framework for the environmental review. Ms. McCullough?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I appreciate the introduction. And thank you also to the Gaming Commission for providing this opportunity for public comment. And I'd also like to thank you all for tuning in this evening. We very much welcome your comments, your feedback, and your suggestions as we go forward with this project, the Avenir. I've had the pleasure of working for Silverstein Properties for the last 21 years. And, we're a company that I think is best known for rebuilding the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan. But we develop, we manage, we operate many, many millions of square feet of office, residential, retail, mixed-use space all over the country, but predominantly here in New York. We're a family-owned company, and I think there's always a sense of community in the work that we do. We're also very well known for our public-private partnerships. As a matter of fact, one of the distinguishing features of the rebuilding of the World Trade Center was the way that our company was able to work with elected officials, with government officials, with members of the community board, neighborhood groups, and all of us collaborated to create in Lower Manhattan a better version of New York. It's that experience and that willingness to cooperate and work with our neighbors in our community that I think really sets us apart as a real estate development firm. Here are a couple of photographs of the World Trade Center project, which is something I'm particularly proud of. This was a union job. We employed tens of thousands of union construction workers at the World Trade Center for many, many years. And the Avenir will also be a union job. The thing that I like the most about our approach at the World Trade Center, which we are planning to bring to the Avenir, is that we wanted to make the workforce as inclusive as possible. So we partnered with many different organizations such as Helmets to Hard Hats, non-traditional employment to women, construction skills, and the idea was to feed apprentices into the union construction trades and have them work on our project. Our partners on this project are some very well-known New York companies that we've worked with in the past, but also two gaming companies that I think bring a very unique and interesting perspective to our project. Rush Street Gaming, which will operate the Avenir, is a multi-generational family-owned company. They have a track record of partnering with MWBE suppliers and vendors. They have a very diverse workforce. They prioritize accessibility and opportunity, providing work for people within the neighborhoods in which they work. They're also unique in that they have opened and operate a casino right here in New York State, in Schenectady. And every time I visit that place, I'm impressed with the impact that that casino has had on the neighborhood around it and the pride that the workforce has in working in that particular facility. Another thing that they bring is the economic growth to the entire neighborhood in every place that they work. One thing that we've heard, frequently when we've been meeting with members of the community is, what is the impact of this place on crime, security, and quality of life in the neighborhood? What we've seen through our partner, both Rush Street and Greenwood, is that crime actually declines within the neighborhood in which these casinos operate. It happened in Massachusetts, and to a greater extent, it happened in Philadelphia. And our organization has a lot of experience, as I'm sure you can imagine, working with law enforcement and community partners to increase the quality of life within the communities in which we operate. Our other partner on this project is Greenwood Gaming, and they are headquartered in Philadelphia. They operate the Parks Casino, which is one of the largest casinos on the eastern seaboard, but they also have a number of other facilities. They are also a family-owned business, which means that none of our organizations are driven by quarterly earnings or shareholder requirements. We have the time, the patience, and the commitment to develop really deep ties within our community and help shape the communities in which we work. Another thing that we are all particularly proud of is our commitment to an inclusive workforce. And we partner with a lot of local organizations to make sure that our workforce has opportunity, accessibility, and we welcome, anyone who's interested in working within our environment. This particular neighborhood is of special importance to the Silverstein organization because our company has a 40-year history here. This is a photograph of the west side of Manhattan in 1980. In 1984, Larry Silverstein purchased a full block parcel of land. You can see it in this photograph, between 42nd and 41st Street and 11th and 12th Avenues. And over the next 25 years, he developed this parcel of land into River Place, which opened in 2001, a residential rental building, and Silver Towers, which opened in 2010. Between these two properties, we house 2,300 families. These families are our most important customers. They are a mix of affordable and market rate and inclusionary. We've provided them with an incredible array of amenities and quality of life. We even have a shuttle service that takes them from these buildings all the way across 42nd Street. And if you look at this photograph on the bottom right, that's the old Mercedes-Benz dealership that some of you may remember that occupied the site which we are talking about today. It's an unusual site from a real estate development perspective. The reason for that is its location. It's not quite in any neighborhood. It's between several neighborhoods, and the immediate environment around the site is challenging, to put it politely. Directly to the south, you have the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel. You also have a bus terminal, a bus depot to the west. You have a FedEx facility to the north. And it's for all of those reasons that we were never able to develop residential buildings on that particular site. It just doesn't work. We tried it over a 10-year period, and it's just not the highest and best use. So when we heard that New York State was considering awarding 3 casino licenses for the downstate area, we thought this might be an interesting place to put the casino. And the reason for that is we're not displacing anyone. We're not really inconveniencing anyone. We're not getting in anyone's way. We're not negatively impacting the community. As a matter of fact, if you go there, and for those of us who live and work in the neighborhood, we know exactly what it looks like, there's literally nothing there. This is a view looking northwest, and you can see Silver Towers and River Place on the left of this image. In the next photograph, this is a view looking southeast, and you can see the Hudson Yards buildings, residential, office, retail, slowly making their way up 11th Avenue. This is the 11th Avenue side. And for those of us who know the neighborhood, you'll notice our construction site fence was painted by a group of local artists, interestingly enough, who we provide free studio space for in some of the unused space in our buildings. And as my colleague Nancy Ruddy will get into in a few minutes, this particular stretch of the project along 11th Avenue is one that I'm very excited about because we're planning a public gallery, a block-long community space that we will be able to give to these very artists who've painted on our site fence. The next image shows you the Michael J. Quill bus terminal, the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel. And the next image is what the site looks like today. There's literally nothing there. It's shovel ready. We don't need to build a platform to start building. Upon approval, we can start right away and we can deliver this project, I think, sooner than most of the other competitors, because as I'm sure you all know, there's an urgency to getting this facility up and running because of the need of the city, the state, and the MTA for funding, which they just don't have at the moment. So to give you a sense of what we have planned for this site, I'm delighted to introduce my friend and colleague, Nancy Ruddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara. You and Silverstein Properties always inspire me, always. I'd like to thank the elected officials, the Gaming Commission, and your amazing staff, the community board and community members, and the general public. I am really excited to share our vision for the Avenir and to listen to your important comments. I'm Nancy Ruddy, co-founder of Setra Ruddy Architecture. We are a New York-based architecture firm that has been creating contextual and socially responsible buildings for over 30 decades here in New York. Similar to Silverstein Properties and our project partners, Setra Ruddy is a family-owned business that my partner John Setra and I began in our second bedroom in Long Island City 38 years ago. So this slide has John and I in our offices, and Dara convinced me to find a picture of John and I when we were just starting out as young architects. And ironically, this picture is John and I sitting on the yet undeveloped west side part of the Hudson River. So it's very exciting to be thinking that 38 years later, we may have the opportunity to work on this site again. We have been working, so sorry, it's my place. Okay, so I'm also proud to tell you that Setra Ruddy includes a certified women business enterprise that has been in existence for 38 years that implements all of our planning and interior design work. And our team is diverse, inclusive, and I'm very proud to say that our staff consists of 55% women. From the beginning, we were committed to creating an architecture that is grounded in history while looking to the future. We began our firm to create new paradigms for urban housing. Our focus in over 100 successfully completed projects in New York City has been on creating community and home through diverse, inclusive, and affordable residential and mixed-use buildings throughout the city. From affordable and supportive housing to education and community projects, we have collaborated successfully with local residents, community boards, development visionaries, all to create a more vibrant and livable city. We've designed and built numerous projects right here on Manhattan's West Side in the immediate neighborhood, and are really excited that we have the opportunity to be part of creating an important urban amenity on the Avenir site. The Avenir is located, as Robert mentioned, on a full block that spans 41st and 40th Street between 11th Avenue and Galvin Avenue. The site is within the Special Hudson Yards District on Manhattan's far west side. This 93,000 square foot site, which as Dara said, is empty and shovel ready, will house a project that is 1,670,000 square feet of multi-use building that has been thoughtfully designed to be both a community and citywide amenity. The building will house a 200,000 square foot gaming facility, a 1,000-room hotel and related amenities, conference and event venues, educational spaces, multiple food and beverage experiences that include a food hall that will showcase local culinary talent, indoor and outdoor health and wellness facilities, and a community gallery. This rendering is a view of our building looking south. We hope that you see that we're proposing a quintessentially New York building that is compatible with the local West Side context. As you'll see in this next slide, the Avenir site is uniquely located within Manhattan. The site is at the crossroads of diverse neighborhoods and districts that, as Dara mentioned, are currently not connected to each other. As urbanists and planners, we believe that the development of this site will knit together the fabric of this part of the West Side together by creating an activated building that has been carefully planned for pedestrian, vehicular, and public transportation access. As we all know, New York is a walkable, pedestrian-oriented city where we as residents and people who come to our city come to experience the magic of our streets. Our goal here is to create connectivity and vibrancy and to be a good neighbor to the existing community. The circle on this diagram indicates a 10-minute walking radius at our site. Once developed, the site will connect and support important West Side hubs such as the Javits Center, the Theater District, Madison Square Garden, existing residential neighborhoods, and outdoor neighborhood amenities such as Hudson Yards Park and the outdoor recreation venues along the Hudson River. We will be an active collaborator with our adjacent sites and activities and help support all the exciting activities that touch our site. As illustrated here, our site is well served by multiple lines of above and below grade public transportation and is located near major transportation hubs that include the Moynihan Train Hall, the Port Authority Bus Terminal, the 38th Street Ferry to New Jersey, and the Times Square and 34th Street subway lines. All of this will assure that our location will continue a desire for sustainability and the use of public transportation. Access to the Newark Airport, cross thoroughfares to Manhattan's East Side, and bridges and tunnels efficiently connect the Avenir to the greater metropolitan area and beyond. The following is a section of our design for the Avenir, which is grounded to the pedestrian experience through a 9-story base that relates to the scale of other structures in our neighborhood. This podium base contains 5 floors of public amenities and 4 floors of gaming. It includes a full floor food hall on level 6. The rooftop of this base will contain a green biophilic open space from which a 45-story hotel tower will spring. The program of the Avenir will support existing surrounding venues with hospitality, entertainment, wellness, and all be accessible to the public. What's on the screen is a ground floor plan, which has been designed for safe and convenient access for neighborhood pedestrians and visitors and vehicles serving the building. Entrances will be located on 40th and 41st Street, with the main entrance on 41st Street. The building itself has been carved out to allow for 3 added vehicular access lanes that will occur within the site boundaries so as not to negatively affect the two-way traffic pattern of 41st Street. Pedestrian access will be safe and be along art-activated facades with entry through weather-protected access and widened sidewalks. Consistent with Silverstein Properties' commitment to both New York City and the arts, the base of the building has been designed to incorporate both permanent and changing local and international art to provide vibrancy, activation, and inspiration. The entire 11th Avenue portion of the ground floor, which is noted in green on this plan, will house the community gallery that both Dara and I have discussed. The space and amenity will showcase local art. It will be a venue for community and educational events and will be an asset for use by the local community. This 31-foot-high glass enclosed space captures the essence of Manhattan's artistic spirit and will enliven the 11th Avenue facade. The community gallery will become a beacon of light and activity and a destination in the development of making 11th Avenue Manhattan's next great boulevard. This inspiring and experiential space will also provide access to public spaces within the building without entering the casino by a scenic glass elevator and a dramatic escalator. What's on the screen is the main entrance on 41st Street to the gaming facility. The building design creates a new paradigm for gaming facilities. Unlike casinos in the past that were designed as impenetrable glass boxes, we've turned the venue inside out to create transparency and visibility into the social, relaxation, and food and beverage spaces, providing connectivity, light, and animation to the street. The gentle curves of the entry facade provide a gesture that invites visitors into the building. A multi-story entry atrium that is a centralizing feature of the casino illuminates the 41st Street facade and provides welcome to visitors and passersby. This next slide shows our design of the building, which is based upon a commitment to continuing the historic tradition of New York City architecture, which is based on providing distinctive design excellence. We're creating a building that is contextual within the diverse neighborhood fabric of the West Side, while adding to the iconic skyline of the city. The form and materiality of the building will be an asset to the community, visitors to the site, and pedestrians who may or may not even enter the building. The sculptural form of the building creates a warm gesture while also reducing the perceived mass of the building. The gentle, harmonious waves of the podium and tower create a rhythmic harmony within its dense urban surroundings. The hotel tower is sculpted to create an elegant silhouette on the skyline, and the building's materiality is composed of warm tone metal and glass that are consistent with the masonry and glass neighboring context. The elegant forms of the building will gently reflect the changing skies and sunlight and create a subtle prismatic change throughout the day and night. We have added exterior lighting that will be subtle and respectful of the neighborhood, while also having the ability to celebrate important holidays, continuing the New York tradition of the Empire State Building. Terraces created by this interesting form will provide indoor-outdoor connectivity and natural landscape. Sustainability is also a key factor in the building's design. The project team is targeting a building that will operate with carbon neutrality. We are committed to a minimum LEED silver and will target platinum. The building will be all electric with no combustion of fossil fuels. In closing, we feel that the Avenir will grace this West Side portion of Manhattan and with its elegant form and luminous quality, while also bringing added vitality and a welcome central hub to this neighborhood and local residents. Thank you for listening. I'd now like to introduce Connor Lacefield from AKRF, the environmental consulting firm that will be stewarding the EIS.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Connor Lacefield, and I'm a vice president at AKRF. I'm serving as the project manager for the preparation of the draft EIS for the applicant team. In the next few slides, I'm going to provide a brief summary of the contents of the draft scope. There's a lot more detail in the actual document, so I invite you to review the full document for more information. This table presents the project program that will be analyzed in the draft EIS. The project consists of about 200,000 gross square feet of gaming facility, 130,000 gross square feet of food and beverage space, 46,000 gross square feet of ballrooms, meeting rooms, and conference space, and 38,000 gross square feet of spa, fitness center, and pool, as well as 1,000 key hotel. There's also about 7,300 gross square feet of community gallery space. This is the 11th Avenue gallery space that both Dara and Nancy spoke about, and 102 accessory parking spaces. The total building floor area would be about 1.67 million gross square feet. This slide shows an illustrative ground floor plan for the proposed project. As Nancy mentioned, the main entrances for the gaming facility and hotel would be along West 41st Street, shown in orange and light purple along the top of the plan. The community gallery space would be located along 11th Avenue, shown here in light green on the left side of the plan. Passenger vehicle access to the site would be through the 3-lane drop-off area along West 41st Street. This drop-off area would provide a dedicated space for queuing, drop-offs, and pickups, and would provide access to the project's below-grade accessory parking. The project's loading dock would be accessed from West 40th Street, shown here in white along the bottom of the plan. This slide shows an axonometric diagram of the proposed project. The project would have a 9-story base or podium covering the full site, with a hotel tower rising on the western portion of the site along 11th Avenue. The building's form would comply with the density, bulk, and form permitted by the existing zoning on the site. This building massing will be analyzed in the relevant analyses of the draft EIS. For example, the shadows analysis will be based on this building massing. This slide presents the areas of analysis that we will cover in the draft EIS. The EIS will provide impact studies for all 17 areas shown on the slide. All analyses will account for predicted changes in background conditions and consider how the project would affect those future conditions. The one exception is construction, which considers impacts that could occur during the period of construction, prior to the completion of the project. The analyses will be conducted using the guidance of the city's Environmental Quality Review Technical Manual. In addition to these analyses, the EIS will include a project description that will provide details about the proposed project, the proposed action, and the purpose and need for the project, a description of proposed mitigation measures, which are feasible and practicable measures that could avoid or minimize significant adverse impacts that are identified in the draft EIS, and a description and evaluation of a range of reasonable development options or alternatives to determine whether those alternatives could avoid or reduce the project-related significant adverse impacts while still achieving the goals and objectives of the project. The draft scope also details the analytical framework that will be used in the draft EIS analyses. There are 3 key elements to the EIS analytical framework. The first is the analysis year. This is the future year when the project would be complete and operational, and when the effects of the project would occur. For the Avenir project, the EIS analysis year is 2031. The second element is the future with action condition. This represents the future conditions if the project is approved and constructed. In this condition, the proposed gaming facility and hotel would be approved and constructed on the project site. The third element is the future no action condition. This represents the future conditions if the project is not approved by the Gaming Commission. The incremental difference between the with action condition and the no action condition will serve as the basis for the impact analyses presented in the draft EIS. That concludes my presentation on the draft scope. Thank you all for your time, and we look forward to hearing your comments. I'd like to now hand this back to Robert Williams.
Thank you, Connor, and thank you, Mr. McQuillan and Ms. Ruddy. As a reminder, the purpose of today's session is to accept comments on the draft scope of work. Comments can be submitted in multiple fashions. At today's hearing and spoken testimony, and at next week's continuation of tonight's session, and by electronic mail and traditional mail to the Gaming Commission. Both our email address and mailing addresses are listed on the slide and also on the Commission's website. Just a reminder again, comments will be accepted through 5:00 p.m. on June 12th, 2025. Before we start with part 2, I want to mention that any elected officials and government agencies are not limited to 3 minutes. The first up are elected officials and government agency representatives. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be called and we'll grant you temporary microphone access. You'll be prompted to unmute and we'll be able to share your comment. If anyone experiences technical difficulties during testimony, we will pause and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting to occur in the background, and we will call your name again at a later time. Mr. Park, are there any government elected officials or government agencies that have pre-registered?
No, there are not.
Okay. As we do not have any registered elected officials or government agency representatives, we will move on to part 3 of the scoping session, where community board representatives, interested organizations, and members of the public are invited to speak. As I mentioned just a second ago, when it's your time to speak, your name will be called and you will be granted temporary microphone access. I remind everyone there is a 3-minute countdown clock that will run on the screen, and you will be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when time is expired. Lines will be muted for speakers who exceed 3 minutes. Again, as before, if you experience technical issues during your testimony, we will pause and move on to the next speaker to allow troubleshooting, and then return to you and call your name once you have rejoined. Mr. Park, will you call the first speaker?
Yes, the first speaker is Chris Russo. Chris Russo. Okay, we'll come back to you, Chris. Next up is Spencer Lasky. Spencer Lasky.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good, thank you. I just wanted to say that, my experience with World Trade Center and the Silverstein family within the World Trade Center ecosystem has been one that highlights the work that I've done as a filmmaker and a photographer. The reason is the way they are very benevolent and give to the artists and the community. So I've seen this firsthand. Dara said a number of times, the word opportunity, and in my experience, it's not a word used lightly. So I really look forward to seeing what they would do with this facility and knowing how they view community and art and artists and the greater public, how we get to experience that art. It's pretty exciting. So I definitely love what's happening down at the World Trade Center, and would really look forward to seeing this building. By the way, is beautiful. So that's one right off the bat. It's a beautiful architecture. So what they would do in that environment with people and artists and community, I look forward to it. And thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we have Chris Russo back.
Yes, hi.
We hear you.
Thanks. I wasn't able to unmute before, so apologies for that, but glad you could hear me now. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris. I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I'm from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I spend a fair amount of time in and around where the Avenir site is, so I know the area quite well. As we know, right now, the site is a giant hole in the ground, and I think that's just a shame to see in New York City, especially on the island of Manhattan. And I think that the Avenir is going to bring a lot of connectivity to an area that right now feels really disconnected. And, when I learned that it would be more than a gaming facility, but it will be a hotel and restaurants and third spaces for people to hang out in, like the idea of bringing in the public and the community, I was really impressed. Clearly, a lot of thought has gone into how this site can really serve the neighborhood and New Yorkers. And I also want to say that I know Silverstein Properties from the work that they've done rebuilding the World Trade Center, and they're good people. They're New Yorkers. They build things for New Yorkers, and I really would trust Silverstein to be the group to bring this development to life. And I think that this is the best location for this proposed facility. So the Avenir would bring a lot of life to New York City in an area that really, really deserves it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mike Marcucci. Mike Marcucci.
Hi, good evening. I've been working for Silverstein Properties for over 20 years. I'm a filmmaker also, and I've had the opportunity to witness and film the incredible rebuilding of the World Trade Center firsthand. I've seen firsthand the workforce behind this project and the immense pride that all have there. Silverstein Properties brings out the best in all involved. They have also had to strike a delicate balance between 9/11 families, neighborhood associations, and the public at large. They have and continue to have a deep respect for all these stakeholders. I feel deeply convinced that they would be the right choice to develop the casino and that this neighborhood is the perfect choice. Their design and build standards are second to none, and I am sure they will respect and be good caretakers of the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is T.C. Weaver. T.C. Weaver.
Hey, how you doing? I'm here with my partner, Risa Tochigi. We are some of the artists in residence at the World Trade Center. We've been a part of that community since 2018?
Yes.
And when they talk about community and embedding art into things, like we are proof that that is something that will work. We've been a part of projects from here to Seattle,
Yep.
through Silverstein, and they are committed to integrating art and community in pretty much everything that they do. We worked on a community mural with residents from Silver Towers and I believe another property, and we created a community mural which is installed on the fence at the property right now. Also around the corner, we have a 200-foot mural that speaks to the community, the businesses, and the people that live in that community. And it's been just like a ray of sunshine, hearing all of the words of affirmation and from the people who pass this thing on a daily basis. So I believe that the Avenir, like, they're gonna up the ante with the community engagement and bringing art and culture to the community. So I couldn't see anybody other than Silverstein having their hands on this thing, because they're gonna bring that energy and light that place up with community.
Oh, and then also I wanted to say that their commitment to the community, the support, it's very generous and truly allows us to be who we are and keep building with the community and keep growing. So we just are looking forward and can't wait what they are able to do at that location.
Yes.
It's nothing but positive for everybody and the growth for the community.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it. That's our piece.
Thank you. Next speaker is Anthony Ribondo. Anthony Ribondo, and I apologize for mispronunciations.
No apologies necessary. You did pretty good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. So thank you for the opportunity to talk here today. And I really just want to echo a lot of what some of the other people on the call have said. Silverstein has done, quality work over the years. I had a really amazing opportunity to go down to the World Trade Center construction site, quite a few years back, and see a lot of the people that were working there and, get to talk to them. And the pride that they took in their jobs and the community that they had within them, the workforce there, was really remarkable. And it was really kind of neat to see how Silverstein Properties actively encouraged and, expressed their appreciation. And when you go down to the World Trade Center and you look at the buildings that are down there and the redevelopment that's taken place after 9/11, it's truly remarkable. The buildings are gorgeous. The site is meticulously maintained. And everybody that works in all of those buildings takes really great pride in it. They're all incredibly friendly. And so Silverstein just really knows how to pick very talented people. The fact that all the buildings are environmentally friendly, they're all LEED certified. And again, the quality of the buildings is all there. And again, the community there too. I had been past this site a number of times over the years, and it always just kind of spoke to me and said, somebody help us, somebody do something here. So when I heard that this project was moving forward, I was very excited because I think, and I believe it was Dara that mentioned how it'll tie all the neighborhoods together, the theater district and the West Side and Hudson Yards. I really think it's going to be a great thing. I love the fact that it's going to be a LEED certified building, and the renderings that we were presented with today look absolutely beautiful. The fact that there's going to be art, that's always been a big draw for our properties, for the properties down there. Like I said, you walk around, you see a ton of great artwork. I just think that it's really going to be a unique opportunity to put something there that will really kind of bring that whole area back to life, because it's kind of an eyesore right now. So I'm really optimistic, and I hope we could see something happen with it soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Clayton Calvert. Clayton Calvert.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yes, my name is Clayton Calvert. I'm an artist and curator and lifelong New Yorker as well. I've been an artist in residence at the World Trade Center since 2019. And, I can personally say that working with Silverstein as an artist has changed my life and the lives of many people around us. They actually helped us found a nonprofit down at the World Trade Center called NYC Culture Club. And we help artists and curators get exhibitions free of charge and no commission. And for a company to do that was really to take a leap of faith in some artists. And so hearing that component makes me really happy. But also that area where the casino is going really needs it needs culture. It needs life. They'll invigorate that. And also looking at the quality of the architecture and the buildings they developed down at the Trade Center is wonderful. They have David Childs, Richard Rogers, Calatrava, Fumihiko Maki, some of the best architects in the world. And so I think that when they do something, they do it with such thought and such precision, and they really bide their time in order to make these decisions. And so hearing these plans and seeing these plans, just knowing how much has gone into this, it makes me excited for that part of town, because I often bike down there. I live up on 120th Street. And so biking down to the trade centers, I often pass that. And, it's kind of shameful to see, because the Hudson Yards looks great being developed the way that it is, and before that in the Midtown area. And so you kind of get to this vacuum there. And so as a New Yorker, I think that kind of what Dara said and what Tony was speaking to, the fact that this will unite that area of Manhattan and kind of round it out in a way that really kind of benefits the neighborhood is exciting. So I'm looking forward to the project.
Thank you. Next is Parker Calvert. Parker Calvert.
Hi, this is Parker. I just wanted to echo my brother Clayton, who just spoke, and his sentiments. I think it's rare, especially in a city like New York, to find developers who care about the communities in which they operate. I know this from firsthand experience, from reaching out to different developers, trying to get them to support our projects as artists and to support artists and residents in their properties. And the only organization that has done that is Silverstein. And I think their commitment to leading with conscientiousness, to building and fostering diversity, inclusion, just bringing people together as a community in a real way, where they lead with creativity and they put art and the needs of a community at the forefront. I think it's just one of those things that's noteworthy and laudable. And, I would say that I agree that that area really needs some development, because I pass by there and it's a wasteland. And, as a native New Yorker, I think it's a shame to have seen that spot be so empty for so long. And so to bring new architecture, to bring a bunch of jobs, to do something where we have art integrated, I don't think anybody else is even thinking that way. And so to have people who are really just at the cusp of kind of bringing, project forward and bringing along communities with it and giving opportunities along the way to many people from all backgrounds, I just think it's really extraordinary and noteworthy. And so I just think it would behoove the city to really, think about Silverstein as just the only option for this type of project, because they lead with integrity and they lead with all the factors that you want to have reflected.
Thank you. Next is Richard Drutman. Richard Drutman.
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm based in East Harlem, and I'm a lifelong New Yorker. And something that I've been wondering, about hearing about these projects, and is how will casinos benefit the community aside from just economically, and how will it add to the texture of New York, and how will New Yorkers feel about these how will they, feel about these buildings, and will they reject them? Will they embrace them? And being involved in the arts community and actually having the opportunity to interview a number of the artists, what I've witnessed is how has really seemed to incorporate the arts in the community in a way that I've never heard of being done by another major developer. And yeah, sure, of course, many buildings install public art, but Silverstein seems to have consistently managed to do something really special with their programs. And so if anybody can figure out the right kind of innovative community engagement, a development like this needs to be successful and to have the kind of sophistication that New Yorkers will appreciate. I think it's Silverstein and this plan based upon what I've heard today. And I think that there's a good possibility that they'll be the standard bearer for what the rest of the developments need to come up to. And so I just think that this plan seems to have the best chance of elevating a gaming environment to something that truly enhances the city, not detracts from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Lorenzo Brusasco. Lorenzo Brusasco.
Yes, hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm delighted to pass on some comments here, hopefully from an international perspective and non-New Yorker. I've had the pleasure of visiting the United States for over 35 years and always enjoy my time in New York. I just wanted to point out that I believe that if this casino, when it is made, will attract an enormous amount of international visitors who will come with their disposable income. And I think that this will then have a fantastic trickle-down effect on local artists and also create and support many, many jobs. I think that this has been proven many times across the United States, especially with the Formula One race that has started in Las Vegas, that was thought people had a lot of doubts about, and has turned out to be an enormous success. And once these people are done watching the Formula One race, they go to the casino and spend their income. And I think there will be exactly the same thing here in New York. When people come and watch shows, Broadway shows, whatever activities they're going to do, they will then carry on and go to L'Avenir and enjoy the casino facilities, and hopefully also stay at the hotels and enjoy the local cafes and restaurants. So that's my perspective on that, and I thank you for your time. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you. Next is Zaidi Rivera. Zaidi Rivera. And again, I apologize for any mispronunciations.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. My name again is Zaidi Rivera. I've been a part of the community for over 15 years. And actually, I am a resident of one of Silverstein properties. And although it's been a great opportunity for me to live in one of these properties, it hasn't been the most pleasant experience being a tenant at one of Silverstein properties. And we've encountered many issues that now that I'm listening to how much care and attention the organization is taking to put this new business in the community, it kind of like makes me feel a little bit against or opposed to the whole situation or the whole casino. One, I feel like putting a casino in an area where there are communities is going to be disrupting to us. We have children, we have families, we have built a community of families and people. And I think putting a casino where it's going to bring people from different areas can cause and disrupt our peaceful neighborhood. Another thing is, like, I hear a lot of people here talking about how this is going to benefit them and it's going to benefit like their pocket in a sense. How is that going to benefit us, the people that actually live in the community? And as I mentioned earlier, we have had issues with Silverstein as a landlord in the past. So I don't know how putting a casino there will be no different. We're going to encounter issues and full promises that yes, this is going to bring revenue to the city and this is going to bring this and that to the city, to benefit the city, but in essence is impacting everyone around the community itself. And also, bringing stuff that is going to affect people into addictions of gambling and things of that nature. I really don't agree with that. I think they could have utilized the space for something more productive, maybe opening a school or something like, they mention a lot about artists, how they support artists. Why not open another museum that can support those type of communities? But a casino is actually kind of bringing people that probably have addictions to gambling and maybe other things, drugs and crime, and we're more concerned with that in the community. So I highly opposed to this, and I'm sure many people in my community itself, like the residents of the building, are opposed to this as well. So I'm disappointed that this project is actually being discussed and that we're here at this point. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Luisa Colon. Luisa Colon. Okay, maybe we can come back to Luisa. Next is 10G. 10G.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody tonight?
Very good. Thank you.
Good. Well, I've worked for Silverstein for the last 12 years, and I've been a major part of the artist community, helping to bring in really talented artists from underserved communities and help to get them on a platform and give them space that Silverstein provides. I think that this project is a really dynamic project, and I think it offers so many positives as opposed to the negatives. When we were painting the fence outside of the property on 11th Avenue, there was so many young kids that were coming by and asking Boogie Rez, how do you spray paint? How do you do this? How do you get these brush strokes? How do you do these things? And it was one where it was refreshing because they were, like having having community, and they were talking to the kids and telling them, these details and so forth and so on. So I think that, that's evidence that, the gallery is not just going to be a gallery. It's also going to be an educational space that will be used to share with the community, where we will have different programs for them to come in and to learn the arts, because, as we know, the arts are being taken out of schools. So, it will be a place where, we're going to do it. we're going to have these really world-renowned, talented artists show the kids how they can, be successful artists and live their dreams if that's what they want to do. So I think that Silverstein, is definitely, the ones that, should be awarded, the casino, opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to come back to Luisa Colon. Luisa Colon.
Hi, I'm trying again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I'm a born and raised New Yorker and a mom. I love my city. I want the best for it. I'm an artist, a writer, creator. That's my wheelhouse. City planning, architecture, design that addresses the needs of a city. Those are all things I care passionately about, but they're out of my wheelhouse.
Recording in progress.
I'm a New York City resident, so sorry.
I'm in New York City
I have
resident.
two devices. Apologies.
I have two devices.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm so sorry. So as I was saying, as a resident of the city, there are so many things I care about passionately, but they're out of my wheelhouse. It's like, I have to put my trust in the people who know what to do so that I can live and raise my family in the best city possible. And as I've grown up in the city, it's become undeniable to me that Larry Silverstein, his associates, they have the best interests of the city at heart. They care about and do right by diversity, jobs, recovery, art, culture, community, the environment. All of those things are so important to me. And nothing could have convinced me more than what Silverstein has done with downtown Manhattan. I'm not going to lie. After 9/11, I didn't feel a lot of hope for the area. I felt very defeated and broken. And I was skeptical about trying to revitalize the area because honestly, it hurt a lot to even think about. But watching downtown Manhattan become what it's become has been a revelation. I believe in Silverstein's vision, his commitment, and his ability to get the job done the right way. And those things are equally important to me. Not just getting the job done, but doing it the right way. So I do want to voice my support for this project. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see it get done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Robert Marcucci. Robert Marcucci. Robert Marcucci. Okay. We'll move on to Susan Jacks. Susan Jacks.
Hi, this is Susan Jacks speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I would like to echo the earlier comments of someone who lives in the area. I have heard very few comments by people who actually live in this area. I've heard a lot about how the lovely art and the murals and downtown, and that is all well and good. It seems to me that there are a lot of people who have worked on art for Silverstein projects, and perhaps they were encouraged to attend this meeting. There is absolutely nobody in this neighborhood who wants a casino. Absolutely no one. And I highly discourage you from doing this. The construction will be a disaster. We are poorly served by public transportation. Thank God for construction pricing. We can finally take the bus across town the same day we start the journey. The number 7 train line veers away from the neighborhood just when you need it to go further west. There'll be no way for people to get out here. There will be congestions of cars pulling into the driveway there, thousands of Ubers, thousands of people visiting on a constant basis. It will be noisy. unneighborhood friendly. If you want to put something there with pretty art, then put up a building with pretty art. And someone mentioned that the art would be an educational area, educational installation. A casino was not an educational installation with the art. You can have a perfectly lovely art in a Silverstein residential building, much like he's already done in the area with some lovely buildings, admittedly with some odd architecture, and with some beautiful architectural touches that he has put in, but some odd choices of how to build windows in one of the buildings that I'm very familiar with. I wonder about the quality of the construction that would take place. And I have been privy to some discussions about how construction was affected here. People in this particular building I know of had lumpy floors. The windows don't open correctly. But there's a nice chandelier in the lobby, and it's lovely. However, I reiterate, no one, absolutely no one in this neighborhood wants a casino. No, no way, no how. Wynn Casinos just canceled their license application for Hudson Yards because no one wants a casino there. Put it in Times Square where the tourists are, which is well served by public transportation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Next, we have Emily Williams. Emily Williams.
Hi, my name is Emily Williams. I'm from Chelsea, right off 10th Avenue next to the High Line. And I just wanted to comment as someone who also lives in the area. I've watched this neighborhood change a lot over the years. I've watched Hudson Yards come out of the ground, and I've watched most of those buildings sit empty. I was a little adverse to the state giving out these casino licenses because, you know, as everyone here I'm sure knows, we have a housing crisis and we do need a lot of housing. But I have noticed, as I said, a lot of Hudson Yards sits empty. A lot of the buildings south of that sit empty. And I think what we're also in need of is third spaces. And from what I'm hearing, it seems like this project is kind of giving that. I mean, I don't know much about it outside of this, but I do know like we need third spaces and I'm interested in that. Um, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we've gone through all those who registered to speak.
As we have reached the end of our list of registered speakers, I think we'll take a 10-minute break here, give an opportunity for people who are on the phone or on the video to register if they want to provide comment or allow others to join our session. Again, we're going to take a 10-minute break here, and we will be back at approximately 6:25. Thank you. They're slacking. Okay, we're back on the record here. Mr. Park, is there anybody that is registered in the intervening 10 minutes?
It looks like we do have one person with their hand raised.
Excellent.
Robert Marcucci. Looks like we're not able to get Mr. Marcucci's line unmuted. I'm not seeing anybody else registered at this time.
Is there anyone that's on the call right now that would like to speak? Please raise your hand or press *9 if you're on by telephone. Mr. Martucci, if you remember Mr. Park, he was a couple of people ago and didn't respond either.
Yep, we have somebody on the phone that might be that individual.
Excellent.
This is ending in 5690, ending in 5690. Okay, I think you're unmuted now.
Hi, good evening. How you doing?
Good, we can hear you. Can you please identify yourself?
Okay, my name is Frank Hussey, and I've worked at the World Trade Center site for just about 18 years. I met Larry Silverstein personally some 25 years ago, and when he came down to the site and he had this vision to rebuild the World Trade Center site, you could see it and feel it in his spirit that he took on this mass reconstruction, and he did it on a personal level, because I remember having a conversation with him and he was saying, Frank, I'm going to bring this place back if it takes my last breath and my last dollar. And a man with that vision, I believe in him. And I watched him babysit, nurture, and did all that he had to do to bring downtown back to life. I can tell you on a personal level, while 7 World Trade Center was being built, he would come down at least 3 days a week and walk the site with me just to see progress and just to be a part of it on a personal level. Now, when I heard about this Avenir Casino project on 41st Street, and I heard it was a possibility that Silverstein would be a part of it, believe me, I was overwhelmed with joy, because I knew and know on a personal level that Larry is going to give it all he has, and I can't wait to see, with the approval of what he's going to make this project to be. And not to mention all the work, all the opportunities for union construction and just the vitality of the city and the location. I mean, the tunnel is right there to Jersey, the highway, Midtown is right there. Listen, this
10 seconds.
This will be. Hello?
So you have 10 seconds.
Yeah, so this will be the highlight for me, and I can't wait to see what the city is going to benefit from this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Park, anyone else at this moment?
Not at this moment.
Again, if anyone is with us by video, please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. If you're on by telephone, you can press *9, and we will see the indication as well. Nothing yet, Mr. Park?
No.
At this point, I think we'll take another hiatus of 10 minutes to allow individuals to either register or to indicate again by pressing or depressing the raise hand function if you're on the video call, or by pressing *9 if you're on telephone. But we'll take another 10-minute break and we'll be back at 6:40. Thank you. Okay, we're back live again. Mr. Park, has there been anybody indicate an interest to provide a comment?
Not at this time.
Once again, I'll ask if anyone who is online right now on the video, you may use the raise hand indicator, and we will be able to call on you. Anyone who has joined us by telephone, if you press *9, we'll be able to see that you have an indication, an interest in providing comment, and we can allow you access as well. Give it a minute to see if anybody wants to register an interest.
We do have one registered.
Excellent.
Bill Heck.
Hi.
We hear you.
Hi. Yeah, my name is William Heck. I've lived and worked in Hell's Kitchen for over a decade now, and most of the other residents in my building have lived in the neighborhood for at least 3 decades. The less advertised but larger side of Hell's Kitchen are the people who live here, whose homes and families are here. For a long time, there's been some degree of tension between the neighborhood's residents and its commercial appeal. But those entities have largely managed to harmonize and appreciate one another. The proposed casino in Times Square is concerning enough, given that casinos need to keep people inside, losing their money. But the second proposal, on location alone, is in real danger of tipping the balance of the neighborhood in a way that'll certainly prove massively oppressive to the people who live here and the environment in which they live. The last caller in favor of the casino mentioned how well the site is poised to welcome car traffic specifically, just as we're starting to get our head out of the pollution and congestion that was finally somewhat relieved by congestion pricing. All the other arguments I'm hearing in support of these casinos come from interests that lie outside of the people who live in their neighborhood. Listen, I'm all for good jobs for New Yorkers, jobs in union and labor. That would be a great, 3-4 years for those workers, most, if not all of whom live outside the neighborhood. And the rest of us here are going to end up living under the cloud of what that's going to do environmentally, culturally, and all the rest. And I think there are more equitable and useful strategies the city can employ to make this neighborhood really beautiful and what it can be worth. Casino's not the way. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Nobody else is currently signed up.
Okay, and once again, I think we'll take another break. I just want to remind everyone, if you're on the video, please press the raise hand indicator, and we'll be able to recognize you and allow you to provide comment. If you're joining us by telephone, you may press *9, and that will similarly give us an indication, and we'll be able to recognize you off your phone number. When you hear that, you can unmute yourself. In the interim, waiting to see if anyone is interested in providing comment. We'll take another break of about 10 minutes and come back at 6:54. Okay, we're back on. Mr. Park, has anybody indicated an interest to speak?
Yes, we do have somebody who's raised their hand. Rebecca Shalamoff. Rebecca Shalamoff.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rebecca Shalamoff, and I've lived in this neighborhood for over 30 years. And I've worked for Silverstein Properties for almost 20 years. And I love both of those things very much, the neighborhood and the company that I work for. We build responsible projects, and I think this will be an exciting new kind of project in Manhattan and for all of New York City and the state. And I hope you will support this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else has signed up at this point.
Okay. Again, anyone who happens to be listening and has not yet provided a public comment but wishes to can indicate. If you're on telephone, just hit *9, and that'll give us an indication that you'd like to speak. If you're on the video, please hit the or select the raise hand function, and we'll be able to take you at that point as well. We have 4 minutes before the scheduled end of our time here, so rather than taking an additional break at this point, I think we'll just mute, wait a little bit, and then come back on. I'll come back on the microphone at 7 o'clock, and we'll see if anyone has indicated an interest to provide comment. Okay. It's now 7 o'clock. Mr. Park, is there anyone that has indicated an interest to provide comment?
No.
Hearing that there are no remaining speakers and we've passed the end of the scheduled time, the public comment portion of tonight's session has now concluded. As a final note, if anyone had difficulties providing comment today, please submit written comments using one of the methods that are listed on the slide. Comments can be submitted by electronic mail to Kristen Buckley at gaming.ny.gov or by mail to the New York State Gaming Commission at the address you see on the slide. All comments must be received before 5 p.m. on June 12th, 2025. Please note that tonight's session will be continued next week, 1 week exactly from tonight at 5 o'clock. The time right now is 7:01. Therefore, I declare this part of the Avenir project public scoping session to have concluded. I look forward to hearing from people next week. Thank you for your time in joining us tonight.